All right there now, what's happening with the world? Shamaz and I'm File Shopton, reporting on the Bamboozle Game News Network. Where at some point, if you've been bamboozled enough, you takes bamboozlement no more. You know what I'm talking about? So, I don't know what happened. Normally I go live when I, try to do it at least once a week. But it actually took a while to upload for some odd reason. So I don't know if people seen it, didn't see it, or whatever. So this will just be a pre-recorded video. But this will just piggyback off kind of what I've been talking about. Now, this is just for me. But if it resonates you or hits your spirit, then by all means, now understand, the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal, right? They're spiritual, you dig? But then the spiritual war then takes or manifests in the physical realm, right? So let's say, the spiritual war against, the proverbial black man legacy, the emasculation agenda to weaken you because, Most High set certain things to order. So I noticed, especially here in Babylon, everything's inverted. They always coming out with this, what I would call intellectualism of nothingness about what a real man is, coming from people who don't explain any of the traits that the ancients viewed manhood by. They're rewriting history and rewriting everything that we've known to be. And if you don't war back against it, you'll be lost in the sauce, or you'll start adopting certain belief systems unaware just to go along, to get along, compromise, and not even realize you're doing it. I believe that's why, the word talks about, being a watchman and guarding your heart and watching your eyeballs and, being careful what you hear and not being around certain individuals because bad company corrupt good character and all this here, right? I see ever more clearly the application of the word as Babylon falls. But as the nation of Babylon is falling, the spiritual wickedness and darkness is getting greater. You heard it said it gets greater or it gets darker right before the dawn. So seemingly, we have two things happening simultaneously. We have the nation of Babylon falling, the world of systems, all that crap they come up with, right? While at the same time, the chosen, the remnant, are not only awakening, but such as myself, we're transforming, not necessarily intellectually, but almost time released. Like, I didn't intellectualize, the desire to do certain things. I just stopped doing it. And then I was like, then after a period of time, I'm like, I don't want to do that no more. But I had not been doing it. I didn't think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like when the word talks about, and I don't want to misapply scripture by no means, but when the word talks about sanctification being a process or work of the Holy Spirit, the Ruach Kadash, right? I'm like, what that mean? Now, I'm pretty sure I got a part to play in this. But I've worked on certain things, but the things I've worked on, I believe I was released to work on. Because I've been working on, let's say, sobriety for over 10 years. I only got a little over 4 years. But I had to go through a certain experience to highlight what I'm fit to talk about now, right? And no matter what the content or the subject matter that I'm conveying here, and I'll be all over the place because I've been all over the place. I perceived a lot of things. I've been shoulder to shoulder with different types of people and lost the enamored, and I never really had it, but to idolize people and so on and so forth. So I talked about, last live about what I found out child support did. And in numerous emails, they contradicted themselves. Yeah, and even when you deal with the narcissist, you ask a simple, direct question. They start talking about some other crap, convoluting the conversation with irrelevant information that's not pertinent to what you ask them, and they can never answer the question. But they try to lead you astray with word salad, confuse you so you forget what you're talking about. So this video will be about how the hunted, myself, has now become the hunter. Now, I don't want to get this wrong, so please don't apply if it don't apply to you. I'm an untrained professional. Kids, don't try this at home. And I'm not talking about hunting in a physical sense or violence. No, because that's stupid. But I'm talking about hunting intellectually, hunting from the spirit. Well, I've been bamboozled so much, and I've always been a smart guy. I just do stupid stuff. But, for a time period when it was nothing but bamboozlement after bamboozlement. It wasn't allotted unto me to proverbially escape that, because I had to go through enough of that now when I see other people being bamboozled, I take up the call. Ain't got nothing to do with me. And it could potentially put me at personal detriment. I don't care. It's no different than, say, the brother who maybe he grew up in an abusive household. He may see some domestic violence and he interjects himself in it. Like, man, I ain't got nothing to do with you. Not understanding how triggering it is to him. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So now I'm going on the hunt. And this isn't from ego or anything along those lines. I refuse to accept unacceptable stuff. And I put that in an email to child support. This is the way you're going about this, the stuff you're saying, the simple questions that you're not answering, bombarding me with irrelevant information that had nothing to do with what I'm talking about or the situation at hand, and the nail in the coffin, and this going past the mark. Now, had they done whatever, okay, cool, boom, but I found out eventually. But then when I come to discover that the entire time I was emailing these people, seeing the status of my back payments, proving that the child did not live with the mother, and so on and so forth, as we're having these conversations, they had already paid the woman out. And not only that, as we're having these conversations in real time, at various times, they never told me. So that alludes to me, now this got to do with me, so why would you notify me or say it in the course of conversation through email? So that alludes to me, deception. So why are you being deceptive? What are you hiding? I'm finna find out. How you gonna go about that, Toothless Wonder? Well, initially, if I don't know what to do, I walk into the information of how to go about a certain situation. Segue with me, please. Earlier on in my journey, I prayed this prayer. I said, Most High, I don't even know what I need to know, let alone seek it out. I don't even know who I need to be. But once I surrender to the best of my ability for whatever amount of time, I would get information before I stepped into something. Like I always knew about witchcraft, right? Or let's say in general sense, narcissism. Okay. But I probably dealt with it unaware or just didn't care. But then I was getting, my spirit, the interest was piqued, right? So then I was catching about the tactics of witchcraft and what they do, the nuances of it, so on and so forth. Narcissism, the sexual proclivities of those here in Babylon, da-da-da. And I'm just taking in the information like, oh, that's good, that's something to know. And then stepped into an environment where I was seeing it play out. And that's how I was able to navigate it unscathed and keep my principles, morals intact and choose my spirit over finance, which nobody's ever seen done right. So then when they see something they've never seen, then they hate on it. But they enjoy it when they're able to benefit from it. But they be thinking, you something like them, like you care about the stuff they care about. No, I care about my soul and my conscience. All y'all's have been eroded, like at the old job. That's why y'all can, give fellatio, you're medical professionals, and give fellatio in a bathroom while you're at work, and nobody, because you're around all the similar people. The world love its whole. You know what I'm talking about? So in reference to this child support thing, right? So I was advised by, a trusted party, I'll be contacting my congressman. Yes, sir. And then here's what's tripping, right? After the final court date, right? I was starting to receive content come through my feed of I don't want to get this wrong, the League of Dads, right? And I thought that was odd, considering, it probably would have helped me beforehand, but I wasn't meant to see it then. I started seeing it after, because of course the Most High made the end from the beginning. So I was like, wow, I just got my child support thing rectified, at least legal custody now. I can figure out stuff and make appointments and not have to pay money, just going to the mother for a child she don't take care of, right? So I thought that was odd. Shrug it off, right? Catch a little bit of like, okay, cool. But then when I had this information, the channel keeps popping up on my feed again. Now this is a brother, so I'll be calling him tomorrow. I'll let him lay on the pagan holiday and whatnot. But I'll be calling him sometime between morning and early afternoon. He has a $50 consultation fee. And I'm going to run this past him and see what we got going on here. Because again, these people told me because I was flying in the blind, like the child was living with me, but I couldn't verify the child. And this has happened before, and the other party just came and got the child. And I had no leg to stand on. So when it happens again, now I'm trying to put some parameters in place so she can't just do whatever she feel like doing, because it's stupid, right? So what happened after that? Oh, so I advised child support, like, yo, what do I do? Like, do, right? So they was like, well, you're going to need to go for custody. Okay, cool. Now, of course, a lot of times you don't know what rights you got, how to go. So then it was a process of going about that. I had just came back from Pennsylvania and was in the process of going back. So I'm handling, my child, handling, trying to, evolve in my career and so on and so forth. But I said, nah, this is more pertinent. So I put my goal dreams on the back burner to fight this child support fight. So I filed a petition, get her served, boom. Had an initial hearing, to answer to what I said. Whatever I said, she, counteracted it or, whatever, right? What I'm saying ain't true. So somebody here lying, boom. We go through, some months later, then what? Then we had like a mediation at the community college. That went left. Very smug, very proud. And I'm toned back like, yo, you dead wrong. And if you don't know you wrong, that alludes to an even greater problem. But either which way, you wrong. But the pride and the smugness, it really irritated like, you dead wrong. You know what I mean? Police been called numerous times. They had my child around, sex, dated. And this is another thing that goes undocumented, but we all know about it. These women who, for control purpose, be dating these sex offenders, these dudes coming out of prison. And just because you come out of prison don't mean you're a bad dude. But they choose the dude who don't have no character because they want to rule over them, right? Just like it's saying the word, like your children will terrorize you and your women rule over you. That's why they pick them dudes, right? I know, the segue me, please. The more attributes of masculinity internally that I gathered, it was like it repelled women. I think they like me, but they scared of me when you have, 30 other options that's an easier go. And I ain't no tyrant type dude, but just like now, I'm not taking no tomfoolery off of nobody. Because of the hard-won battles, I remember in Baltimore City how uncertain, this fog of uncertainty, the whispers of failure and doubt, and my phone was dry, feeling left for dead even though I'm alive. And like Brother Intuitive Anthony, I called him last night and he had said this, where I ain't been perfect by a long shot, but if you've been around me in the field, you can't say I backdoored you, I threw you, if you would not, like, I don't care about that. Like, I'm gonna pull up on you because you my mind's in them, off the muscle. I thought that's what you're supposed to do if you call somebody your friend. You know what I mean? And how I've taken up people's causes and so on and so forth, but very seldom do it happen back to me, even in a general sense. I gotta fight my wars on my own. I gotta lick my own wounds. You know what I'm saying? I gotta put ice pack on my head when I get lumped up in the field. You know what I'm talking about? Let the swing go down a little bit more. But in order to get to where I'm going, I gotta step back out here. So I'm stepping back on the field all lumped up. And then at some point, I don't know when it happened, but something. And then I don't want to say going after people and institutions. I just started talking about the tomfoolery, or that might not be the operative word. The indiscretions of said, and that I've been around, whatever. Now, can't nobody say I'm wrong, and when I talk the truth, they just act like they don't hear me. But then later on, it'll come out, and I just throw my hands up like Ice Cube, like, man, I've been told y'all. But again, you don't say nothing, almost in the Diddy case, right? Because your attachment to these people you perceive has a benefit, but everything got a shelf life. And then, if you don't distance yourself, or at least stand up against all odds, and detriment and personal attacks are coming, if you're not built for that, whatever benefit is going to be wiped away, because you're now going to be looked at as a joke, someone who's not credible, you know what I mean? And you won't have the requisite information. Hold on. The requisite information. Maybe this work. Yeah. The requisite information, or have gone through the trials and tribulations to mature you. So, like I said, I've gone, I've called out the practitioners in my own town, Cambridge, Maryland, at the old job, the practitioners of witchcraft, the U.S. ran organization that was just exploiting folk. Stand on that. Everybody in town know. You know what I'm saying? And the sisterhood. And there, woo-wee. That's when I figured out the world was a P. Diddy party. I said, God damn. But again, I got the requisite information before I stepped in there. So I can keep me intact, you know what I mean? And because of isolation, I'm not tempted to do it because I know how stupid it is. So I know how to, for the most part, have my spirit win over my flesh, because I can't afford to make bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? Because bad decisions are detrimental to my survival. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. And with this long, hard one, just journey, you know what I mean? That was building me up and I was unaware. I was healing, I was unaware. I care about my own conscience. I don't care what people think. You know what I'm saying? I think Frederick Douglass had a quote saying, I'd rather, paraphrase, run afoul of people than be bored by my own self. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think people constantly need people around them to distract themselves from themselves or somebody to blame. I was in a position, if I'm going to make any kind of headway or progress that's not guaranteed, I'm going to have to pull it all on me. And in reality, when I was really giving it all to the Most High, right? So when I was in treatment where and that was coming out now, I had been through over 7 years ago with these places stealing money and insurance fraud and effing you over. And if they like, you can get away with murder. But if you ask a question, the minute you 5 minutes late, they act like they want to get jiggy with you. And then you got to go to it because you don't have no players in the pot. And I took so much that I takes no more. You know what I'm talking about? And I don't need no backup because I'm used to going to war by myself. But it's ultimately the Most High that goes before me in battle. So I don't care if it's an institution. And one of the greatest institutions that have vexed men, especially the black man, to destroy legacy, to contribute to generational curses, is how the child support system set up. I had caught, I guess it was a documentary back in maybe the 70s. That's when it came out. And there was a congressperson, I forgot what state he was from. And the way the public assistance, social service, it wasn't necessarily child support, but he said the way this is set up, and in order to get this assistance, you don't need no man at home and woo. He said, we'll destroy the black community in 2 generations. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. But you ain't finna destroy mine, not on my watch, not without no fight. What do I look like? Now, everybody else, as the battles have gone on, like Derrick Henry, I'm getting stronger. Now I get frustrated, I don't feel like fooling stuff. I, rest, eat, whatever. But then when I recharge, man, I'm back on them folk, man. Where they at, man? And I want somebody's job, because if there's no consequence for your action, as we see in society with, the women of our populace for the most part, you'll just keep contributing to the same behavior that ultimately destroy you. But I'm not in the business of taking nothing off nobody, especially when I know I have been wrong. So, these people wrong you, but these people are this, but you get them a pass because they're greater. Who? Not my eyeball. They can drop just like everybody else. And on top of it, all the systems are falling apart anyway. I smell blood in the water. This is like, long arduous boxing match or something. You know what I'm saying? You taking some licks, but you still upright. Then you sneak a good jab in there and you see their knees wobble a little bit. You're like, oh, I ain't seen that in a minute. Oh, don't let me think I got you. Oh, I smell it. Yeah. Oh, but back to the brother, right? So I'm gonna, call him. He has a $50 consultation fee, according to him. And here's a brother, and the way he talk and the aura that come through the video, he's just not like a lawyer or something. He might be one now, but he's like this, again, turning pain into purpose. That he's going through this himself. You can tell by the way he talk. He's going through this, and it angers him. So he don't want nobody else to go through it. I can dig it. So I'm gonna reach out to that brother, see what's happening, and on top of it, I'm gonna keep emailing them people and getting on their nerves. Last time I checked, getting on somebody's nerves ain't against the law, but y'all wrong and y'all not answering my questions. And for a man who seeks to be a man of wisdom, understanding, it ain't make no sense to me. So because it don't make no sense to me, that means there's something awry, and I ain't got all the way into it yet. But I'm on the path. So I've gained the ability to work, tend to my child, my personal disciplines, my spiritual disciplines, and make war on multiple fronts, not for ego, but because it's the right thing to do. Because now I know how to stand up for me. I thought I did. I thought I knew that. Now I don't. Now, whatever is the consequence for me speaking out, stand up, I don't care. I'm still gonna do it, yo. And the Most High within the last 2 years, I don't want to say he teased me, but he gave me a glimpse of certain things, right? And then I had to stand on my principles, whatever. So it kind of like went away, but I think it was a test to see which one would I choose. Him, what do I want more? God, how's it worded? The gift giver or the one who gives the gift? You see what I'm saying? I thank you for the gift, but I want you. And for whatever you're doing internally, I don't want it like that. Yeah, I like $1 million, but it got to be a certain way. But if I gotta do some old fugazi stuff, get a $1 million, I'll just keep on surviving. And he has sustained me with the right of his right hand, yo. I don't know how many uncertain financial situations I've been in, not because I was lazy or not diligent or anything along those lines, because I stood on business. And it's a new, because I'm a former recovering addict, it's almost like a new high. You know what I mean? I like the idea of fighting the good fight. I don't care what nobody else think. Then stop caring. You can't do it. You won't do it because you scared them folk, or because they're so ominous. One, I know I'm right. I keep my game tight. I've done what them people asked me to do. I've rectified things I did wrong in the past. So I'm not taking none of this. And for whoever, I pull you, not, because what, let's say there's no way I can possibly lose other than time. But I'm meeting the challenge. I'm not taking this line down. No, yo. And y'all contributed and helped me, not just this agency, but multiple agencies, protect my child and enable the other party to destroy. Now, I didn't get the W. The Most High gave it to me because I ain't give up. Ultimately, as the word talks about enduring, you will win as long as you don't give up. You'll feel like it. You'll wonder, is it worth it? You'll get tired. Trust, believe. I know. But then when I wake up or I eat me a meal, wake up from a nap or something, man, them people, not on my mind, them people on my spirit, yo. Nah, yo. How do I become a better warrior unless I'm trained in war? I'm not like this unless I'm like all the uncertain situations I detailed earlier that I couldn't get out of, wasn't allowed to get out of it, because how's gold being refined in the fire of affliction. That's all I knew. I've been afflicted so long. When I was kind of in a space where I could chill, it kind of made me uncomfortable because I was so used to having something battling, something over my head, or something trying to hold me back, and this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? I had to get used to kind of being okay. You know what I mean? But this is not okay, and I don't care who it is. And this, again, child support is probably one of the greatest vectors of generational curses, legacy destruction. You know what I mean? So, and here's what they try to do. They try to make you kind of cowtail to go along, get along, right? And maybe to a degree you've done that. I've done that in a sense like, oh, okay, you good, woo-doo-woo, all right, cool. Long as the child, okay. But that don't even work. I got this from the United States State Department. I don't negotiate with terrorists. It's going to be my way or the highway. You can say what it is all you want. It worked for me. And if you're doing business or an interpersonal, especially here in Babylon with anybody, if it's not your way, people are just going to treat you however they want to treat you. Like, I don't know where this, like, people who don't have control, I'll put it like this. People who don't have self-control are seeking to control others. And you're ill-suited to handle it. But you want all this control. No, though, me, my brain, my spirit don't like the idea of no. Now, of course, I yield to the government, traffic laws and all that there. No, man, we're not doing none of that. And I implore y'all to fight back. You know what I'm saying? And typically, you don't see a Negro get custody. You know what I'm saying? But here it is. This is another proverbial Goliath. But it don't look like Goliath to me. It looked like a agent that's stopping me from claiming my promised land for generations to come. So you got to fall. And let's say if you don't fall, I don't want to be here. What? I'd rather die on my feet or unalive on my feet than live on my knees. What kind of existence is that? And that's what they're spiritually and biochemically and psychologically trying to do to you. Get you comfortable living subserviently. Who? Man, you got the wrong Negro. I don't care what happened. I don't care what I lose. Because what I've gained, let's say materially or in this world, yeah, it's nice. It shows diligence and responsibility. But that's not the sum of who I am. Nah. I've had almost close to, 6 figures and been depressed. I've been broke at the park doing pull-ups and been thankful. You know what I'm talking about? And I know someday, he gonna lift me up. So I just keep banging on the set until that day. I've been in the mood out of when this gonna happen and I want to do this. I talked about how I want to lead a country and these various things I want, it might not be allotted to me. He might got something else for me to do, and he not required to tell me. Just be obedient and be thankful for the day, because you shouldn't even be here. If it wasn't for me, the Most High, you know what I'm talking about? Show you right. Yeah, have some Arby's, it was a cheat day, you know what I mean? But on that note, if this video resonates for you, like when he talked to Gideon, and they labeled Gideon as timid and maybe younger and so on and so forth, but from the Most High standpoint, he ain't said it like that. Again, because he made the end from the beginning. I'm talking to you who you are now, speaking to you as to who you're becoming. And on that note, I'ma holler at y'all, man. One love, baby. Ooh, ah.